Commander Replay. Can we win with the Scion of the Ur-Dragon deck that uses only Planar Chaos and Invasion Dragons? Find out next on Commander Replay. I want to thank my awesome Patreon supporters. We have one new Patreon supporter in Will Leonard. Will, you are awesome. If you want to help support the channel and vote on which decks I play next, feel free to check out my Patreon at the link below. And be sure to use the TCG affiliate player link as it helps support the channel and it doesn't cost you anything. Welcome back everyone, playing some Scion of the Ur-Dragon today, and today's deck list is going to be only Planar Chaos and Invasion Dragons with the triggered ability for 3 mana. Take a look at this opening hand. It's got 5 colors of mana, but it is slow. I think I'm going to mulligan that one. I think we can do a little bit better. Yeah, okay, this one's got ramp. That seems much, much better. We'll keep this one. I am going to try to avoid using this Crosis if I don't have to. If someone draws a million cards for some reason, then Crosis might come out to play. But this should be a fairly casual game, so I don't know. If we don't need Crosis, I'm hoping to not go that direction, so yeah. Anyway, that brings it to our turn 1. We won the die roll. We get to play first. We draw into a Numot. Let's play, I guess, Prairie Stream tapped. And we'll pass the turn like that. So as I mentioned, we are playing Scion of the Ur-Dragon Wooburg for a 4/4 flying, pay 2. Search your library for a dragon permanent card, put it into your graveyard. If you do, Scion of the Ur-Dragon becomes a copy of that card until end of turn, then shuffle your library. So there are some pretty nasty Scion decks out there. We are not doing that today. At some point, I'd like to check those out, actually. I think it does get up into, like, near CEDH, some, like, really powerful builds of Scion, but I haven't really seen them in action, so I don't know what, like, the very top end of that deck is like. But I know that it can be pretty good. But, yeah, we're not doing any of that today. We're just messing around, trying to use these triggered dragon abilities, and we'll see how it goes. Because I think these dragons are actually pretty cool, like, you know, the utility that they bring and their little effects, even though it is a little bit mana intense to do it. But I think it's cool to have like a little toolbox of things that we can go to that aren't just like us doing the double strike thing and taking someone out of the game immediately. So I think that's a pretty cool thing. Anyway, we drop down a land. Let's play the Bloom Tender. It'll get us some mana ramp going. Signet coming in for the Oros opponent. I suppose that I would also try not to use Numot early in the game. Later in the game, I don't mind trimming back some lands, but early on, it's kind of a dirty thing to do, so try to avoid that. One thing about this deck is that you got to know all the dragon abilities pretty well to be able to do it. And I know the Planar Chaos ones decently well just because I've seen them around for years and years. But the Invasion ones I'm a little rusty on. Treva gains life for a permanent of each color. Rith makes a token for a permanent of each color. Daragaz says opponent reveals their hand and does damage equal to the number of cards of the color that they reveal. Crosis is the discard one. And Dromar bounces everything. Dromar is actually pretty strong. I knew someone with a Dromar deck back in the day, and just the board would get bounced constantly is how things would go. I'm going to drop down this Cinderglade. We do not have 2 basics, so it will come in tapped. We can produce up to 3 mana. We have a Painter Servant. I don't actually know if there's like a specific color that we need to turn everything. Aha, we can turn everything white, and then Oros can't hit us, except that also shuts off our Oros in the process. Choosing white, Oros is now off the table. Got there. Let's go on the Bloom Tender beats right here. We'll hit Saskia for 1. And we pass the turn like that. Opponent's going to play a Burning Inquiry. Ew. No, we lost the True Conviction. Oh. 2 dragons, the ramp, Crosis down. Well, I guess Crosis is off the table now. More ramp in this Fabro Elder. A lot of lands in hand, though. I don't think there's a card draw dragon. That's unfortunate. At least not in the, set of dragons that we're using. Someone pointed out if an Ugin gets cast, which is in our deck, we'll be starting the game over because all the lands will get exiled. Oh no, opponent's going to Vandal Blast our Painter Servant down. Alright, the silliness is gone. Grand Abolisher in for the Saskia opponent. There's a Gate to the Afterlife for the Pashlik Mons. Goblin Crater Maker coming in our way, yep. We could go, I think we can get our commander right here. That's probably what we should do, right? I think we'll play the City of Brass. Any color mana sounds like a good idea. Cast Scion. This will make green. Blue, red. Oop, nope. Oh, do we not have 5 colors? We may not have 5 colors. I think we have to get the Fabro Elder first. Green, white. That'll make 2 colors of mana. Yeah, no commander this turn. We got tripped up on the both of these are green-red, and this only makes green. at that moment in time, so no Scion this turn. Unfortunate. Back on the Bloom Tender beats. I'm pretty sure I'm using it wrong. Next turn we should be able to get some Bloom Tender action going. Talisman for opponent. There's an Erebos for opponent. Opponent cycles a Sheltered Thicket. Sure. Too many lands in hand, potentially. Outpost Siege for opponent. Chooses cons. The card draw mode. Goblin Crater Maker over to the... We draw a Marsh Flats. Play, that's a lot of land. Yeah, we could use some looting, some wheeling, some card draw, something. Let us play the Blood Crypt. Untapped. Let's get the Scion. Use the Bloom Tender for mana. Actually, we go white and blue. Oh, yeah, this could be kind of cool. Go white, blue. City of Brass will get us for 1. Now both of our creatures tap for Wooburg, and that's kind of cool. We could cast Numot. Hope there's no board wipe. No dragons that give us haste, so nothing we can really do right there. At least that I'm aware of. Anything that gives us haste? No, I think all the haste stuff is enchantment-based. As far as the dragons go, there are only Planar Chaos and Invasion Dragons, so yeah, nothing really crazy. See if opponents have anything for Numot. Oh man, although if a board wipe happens, such bad shape. I'm gonna hold back Numot. Numot gives us something to do if the board gets wiped this turn, and Fish likes removal, so yeah. I will hold back the Bloom Tender this time. The mana may become relevant. Send a little attack over to Saskia. This Faber Welder, I do like Faber Welder. It's about $49 cheaper than Bloom Tender, and does have some attacking and blocking prowess, which is relevant. Ooh, opponent's just going to block with a Grand Abolisher. Opponent's got a board wipe. That's probably the only reason that they would do that. Here's a Grave Titan for opponent. Yep. Saskia's got a board wipe. It's definitely coming. So introducing our opponents, by the way. First up, we have Fish Said Fish piloting Oros the Avenger, a card that is in our deck. Oros says whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may pay 2 and a white. If you do, it does 3 damage to each non-white creature. So ideally, you can put like Death Touch on it and then just wipe the board repeatedly. Now, opponent played a Grave Titan. Grave Titan would get hit by the Oros. So that's a thing. Yep, that's Saskia into play. Okay, not the board wipe. That's cool. Opponent chooses Kithron. Savage. Continuing on our opponents, we do have Maru Powell piloting Saskia the Unyielding. They have chosen Kithron as their target with Saskia. I don't know what this specific build of Saskia is, but I assume it's some brand of aggro, because that's what Saskia likes to do. We've seen, what have we seen so far? They had an Ad Nauseam in the deck, spicy. Zombie Infestation, Vandal Blast, and a Grand Abolisher in their graveyard. Grand Abolisher pretty standard for a Saskia deck, but Atna is kind of interesting. Same thing with Zombie Infestation. Not 2 cards that I would associate with a Saskia deck, so I don't know. Maybe some spicy brew over there. And then finally, we've got Kithron piloting Pashlik Mons, and is a somewhat recent commander out of Modern Horizons. Says, whenever Pashlik Mons or a goblin you control dies, it deals 1 damage to any target, and you can pay 4 to create 2 goblin tokens. I think Goblin Commanders suffer a little bit in that, like, both Krankos are ridiculously good, especially the original one, but Pashlik Mons is still cool. It makes it hard to wipe the board. It does perform really well in the 99 of other Goblin decks, so, like a Kranko, so, you know, it's something you gotta watch out for, and it kind of does take away the board wipe. Luckily, we do have some amount of bounce with Dromar in the deck, so that gives us something. We've also got some life gain with Treva, which is not the worst thing I've ever heard of. Opponents can use their Goblin Crater Maker on that Boros Signet. Board wipe? Someone's got a board wipe. These all feel like board wipe plays. Yeah, there's the Blasphemous Act. Oh, that makes me sad. Good thing we held back the Numot. Losing both of our mana dorks. They're so good. So now our primary dragon is probably Teneb to try and get one of these things back. Oh, we draw another land. That hurts. Wow. All the lands. I'm going to play this fetch and go for a shuffle. We've been drawing mostly lands the last few turns. It's been pretty painful. I'll take a Tundra, I guess. Play this Numot. I like Numot because it can target lands other than the opponent that you attacked. Like, it's any 2 lands. Pretty sweet. It's not one that I really use all that much. But it's one that I've been thinking about for a while. And, like, you know, I play cards like Volcanic Offering, which I'm not saying you need to go mass land destruction with Numot, but just the ability to trim back a land or 2 in the game, especially the really crazy ones like Cradles and Coffers and stuff like that, and Maids of Ith occasionally. Some of those powerful utility lands or, you know, high mana making lands. Having a Numot around, not the worst thing. Maybe a little mana intense, a little slow, but still a cool card. Here comes Oros into play. Yep. Gonna want to make sure we're not dropping non-white creatures down there, because they are liable to get blued up. Here comes Saskia into play. Yep. Chooses still Kithron. Doesn't like that goblin deck. No attacks, though. That was weird. Misclick, maybe? Opponent says, Planar Chaos Dragons assemble. That's an extra planar lens for opponent. Do we have any mountains? Nope. They're doing snow cover. They're doing the snow cover thing. Ah. Goblin Trashmaker into play. Sacrifice it to destroy target artifacts. Well, we don't have any of those. And other goblins get +1/+1. It's got a Gorgon Flail on it. It now has Death Touch. Oh, that seems like a thing. Yeah, Pashlik Mons says whenever a goblin dies, it deals 1 damage to any target, so Death Touch, very relevant. Well, there's our Oros. I think I want to try to get Scion back into play. Play the Tropical Island. I guess we attack the goblin opponent. They seem like they're not too far away. Numot's going to hit. I'm not going to use the ability. Want to get our commander back into play. I mean, I know I should, but, you know, Numot is a little bit dirty. Won't lie to you guys. It's going to be tougher without our mana dorks in. Oops. Alright, City of Brass will get us for 1. Scion of the Ur Dragon back into play. Scion is also a white creature, so not in range of the Oros currently. So far, only the goblins stand to lose anything from the Oros. Although, oh, there's the Basilisk Collar. Yeah. I put one of those in this deck just because I knew Oros might come up some of the time. Yep. Basilisk Collar on the Oros. I don't know, would they do it for 1? They might. They did shoot their artifact, and they have the ability to shoot another artifact, so actually, yeah, opponent would have to probably use the Trashmaker on the Basilisk Collar. Opponent coming in our way. Yeah, I'm not blocking. Have at it. Oros hits us. We go. Ooh, we're down to 26 already? Man, we getting punished. Why is our life so low? Is it all the fetches and stuff? A couple City of Brasses in there. Opponent lets their Trashmaster go. They could have definitely sacrificed it to destroy the Basilisk Collar. Opponent's Gate to the Afterlife trigger says, when a non-token creature you control dies, you gain 1 life, then you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. It's not terrible. Especially in a token deck. You do a lot of looting with that. Rule of Law, boo. Well, I guess as long as our stuff stays in play, as long as a board wipe doesn't happen. We're kind of a 1 spell a turn type of deck, I think, so that's actually not that bad. We're really trying to use the activated abilities more than anything, and the triggered abilities off the dragons. So one thing I was just talking about in chat, Kithron made a boo-boo, didn't realize the Death Touch on Oros. Anyway, one thing with these triggered dragon abilities is that the way they work, if you're the opponent, you don't have the option to respond after knowing whether or not they're going to pay for the abilities. So the trigger goes on the stack, you choose the targets, and then it's up to the controller to either pay the ability or not, but at no point do your opponents get to respond. There's a couple white removal cards that sort of work like that too. You don't have time to respond where the target's actually chosen, which is, I guess, slightly different, but same sort of idea where you're kind of in the dark as to, like, you have to make decisions before you know if they're going to do it or not, and it can be a little bit awkward. Opponent lays down a Goblin Matron. Yep. And the Rule of Law is going to get him pretty good, I think. Opponent's going to equip the Gorgon Flail? Sure. If we found, like, a Double Striker off the top, that would actually be really cool. I think we could do some pretty silly things if we found Double Strike off the top. There's a Daragaz, the Igniter. That's a cool one. Let's play this fetch land. I think it's time to get down to the dragoning. So we'll have exactly enough to pay for 2 triggered abilities on the dragons and turn our Scion into something. So we'll send the Scion into Maru, the Numot into Fish. Teneb's going to take black mana. This one's going to take red mana, so we'll want to leave black and red open. We'll use the Scion ability. Gonna get Teneb the Harvester. Actually, do we want Teneb? Teneb gets us Crosus. Crosus is pretty ridiculous. Trevor gets us life, because the problem is they go into the graveyard afterwards. We don't have anything else. Man, maybe I'm almost unlike. Dal Rith is cool, right? But Fabero gives us a lot of mana, which I kind of like. Crosus into play is also kind of sweet. Maybe we just go Vorosh. Vorosh and make Scion huge. Seems like a plan, right? Yeah, we're wide open to Oros and everything else. Trevor, gain some life? Let's go Trevor and gain some life. Actually, how much life would we gain? We'd gain... If we go red, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 red permanents. Looks like 5 white permanents. I'm going to go Teneb to get Crosus as a flying blocker. So that way we don't get punished by Me not leaving blockers up. Maybe this deck wants some vigilance in it. There's a thing to think about. I'm going to crack this fetch, get a land. Let's get a Bayou. Teneb will trigger, get the Croesus. Newmont will trigger, let's trim back some lands. I'm going to go for this Godless Shrine and this Reflecting Pool. Getting some dragon triggers, yeah. So Newmont eats 2 lands, Teneb trigger. City of Brass will get us for 1. Oh, Croesus is going to get eaten by Oros. Well, opponent still has to pay for it, and that's a thing. Perhaps we wasted that Teneb trigger. Oops. There is reanimation in the deck. Wouldn't mind running into some of it. Maru says he runs 70 lands. Some sort of like weird land-based Saskia deck. Kith not happy about the Rule of Law. Yeah, Rule of Law, pretty nasty card. Fish, no stranger to some amount of stacks in their decks. Oros time. Yep, that's going to eat our Croesus. Yeah, maybe we should have just went for the Faber Welder. Although then the Oros would be coming in our way. Fish is up to 50. Ew, yeah, the life gain on Oros, pretty good. Or the life gain on the collar is really what's doing it, plus the damage. Yeah. They've got an Erebos in play too, so they can just pay a bunch of life, draw a lot of cards. And that's what they do. Maru plays a land, taps out, and passes. 70 land kind of deck. I don't really know what they're up to. They have an Adnaz in there. So maybe the plan was Adnaz into zombie infestation and just make a crap ton of zombies. It's interesting. It's definitely interesting. The Goblin Matron found the Goblin Recruiter, by the way. Ew, there's a Goblin Charbelcher? Weird. It's not one you see in Commander so much. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a land card. Deals damage equal to the number of non-land cards reveal its way to any target. Didn't see... Their first card was a land, so no damage. There's an Explosive Vegetation. Gonna be tough to get that in with wanting to also get other dragons into play. Play the Hallowed Fountain, untapped. Life gain is not sounding terrible, but Vorosh is also cool. We have exactly enough to cast 1 dragon, and ooh, no, we don't have enough to activate Scion and do the thing. So I think we're going to leave Newmont back. Does gaining 5 life matter? I don't think gaining 5 life matters that much. Vorosh, on the other hand, does give us a real clock to work with. So we'll leave Newmont back for the blocks. Actually, do we send both? No, we'll just send the one. Scion into Fish. Activate Scion. We got Dromar, we can bounce everything. Intet can get us a card. Rith will make a bunch of tokens that'll immediately get eaten by Oros. Treva gains his life. Yeah, I think Vorosh is the best option right here. So Vorosh hits. Pay for the Vorosh ability. So we get 6+1/+1 counters on our commander. Opponent takes a hit for 6 and is down to 37. Let's get the Explosive Vegetation into play. City of Brass gets us for 1 more. Seem to have a lot of blue mana, so I guess Mountain and the Plains. And we pass like that. Oh, opponent's going to Decree of Pain. Boo. It's going to be rough with Rule of Law in play. Not going to be able to rebuild super quick. They draw up to 8 cards in hand. Whew. Probably going to have to discard a hand size unless one's a land. They do have a land. Rise of the Dark Realm is starting to look pretty good. Hopefully we can draw into it. Daragaz also might not be terrible since Fish probably going to have trouble getting cards out of their hand. Cycles a Thicket for the Saskia. Austere Command, all artifacts and enchantments doesn't hit us at all. I think we can probably get 2 dragons, right? We need 1 land. We're on 11 lands. We need a 12th land to cast 2 dragons. I mean, we've been drawing mostly lands this game, so it seems likely, right? I think Scion is on 9. I kind of wish I didn't use our Teneb already. And now I'm kind of wishing that we had just like a Bladewing the Risen to get something back. Maybe add Bladewing the Risen to this deck, because, yeah, seems like it just makes sense. That's a Valakut into play for the Goblin opponent. And I think the Goblin Parade's about to get started. Oh, that's a Stalking Vengeance. Oh my. It's got haste. Sends it into Oros. Yep. Ooh, that's a Debtor's Knell. This is a perfect time for a Debtor's Knell. It's so painfully slow, but it's what we're doing. Oh man. Yeah, we're wide open to a lot of stuff, but here comes Debtor's Knell. I love this card, but it's so painfully slow. Pass like that. A Falmatic Compass would go a long way if we could just prevent some attacks. Not get blued up by everything that's happening. Opponent's got a Mana Crypt. Yep. Warren Power Stone. Ooh, Aura of Silence. No. Storm Cauldron. Well, that might be the thing that gets shot by the Aura of Silence more so than our Debtor's Knell. Storm Cauldron's a crazy card. I knew someone a long time ago who played this in an Azusa deck. It's absurd in Azusa. They're making double mana, can replay their lands, and just do crazy, crazy things, and you're basically hosed on mana, is what's happening. Oh, that's a Reforge the Soul. I believe we're going to have a miracle. Opponent taps some mana, and the Storm Cauldron's going to bounce those lands. Ooh, they bounced their I think their Volakut's getting bounced. Yep, Volakut's gone. Oops. We draw a whole bunch of things. We can Sylvan Reclamation. Ugh, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt a lot. Someone discarded an Eldrazi. Someone's graveyard's about to get shuffled in. That was Fish with the Eldrazi. All right, so here's what's tricky. Oh, we have an Anguished Unmaking. Okay, yeah, we're definitely gonna want an Anguished Unmaking on the Storm Cauldron if Fish doesn't shoot it. But I'm gonna wait till our turn because you get an extra land play when that happens. Stalking Vengeance into Saskia. Yeah. I don't know why, but Kith paid some mana and bounced some lands. Replays a land. Oh, Fish wants 3 turns of immunity from attacks to blow up the Storm Cauldron. I gotta make that deal even though I don't want to. Anything we Anguished Unmaking? Debtor's Knell. We got a lot of dragons to choose from. Who we going for? Oh, Teneb. It's easily got to be Teneb. We have a graveyard full of stuff, so. Yep. Get Teneb. It is now turn 11. Turn 14, we can attack Fish, assuming everyone else is still here. I think things are probably going to start to get pretty explosive over the next few turns. We draw yet another land. Oy. Play a Plateau. Play this 3 visits. Pull the... Let's just pull a basic forest out of the deck. 2 more basics. Do we have 2 more basics? We can get a Canopy Vista. Play Asceticism. And now we just sit back on some mana. We can hold up removal, regenerate Teneb as necessary. Mana Crypt flip on the Oros. Ooh, that's a Kozilek. That is a Kozilek. May have to Anguish Unmaking that Kozilek. I'm surprised opponent has that much mana. A lot. 10? 10 for that? We might need to get Newmont back and start trimming back those lands. That's how you win at this stage of the game. No haste on Kozilek. We've got some time to think about it. See if someone else wants to deal with it. Vampiric Tutor on the upkeep for opponent. Probably not a Deluge, maybe a Swords. Luckily, our dragon is hexproof. Unless they're probably also looking for some combo. I don't know what they're up to. It's got to be some sort of land-based combo thing that they're trying to do. Labyrinth of Scophos. Remove target attacking or blocking creature from combat. Oh, cool. Yeah. Another fog land. That one's probably fairly costly, though. The other ones, Maze of Ith, Compass when it flips over. Also, Corehaven. All pretty cheap. Oh no, opponent's going to shoot our Asceticism. But why? Well, put a Regeneration Shield on this Teneb. Just in case. Goblin Instigator coming in for Kithron. I'm going to go ahead and Anguished Unmaking the Kozilek. Opponent's going to draw a card with Erebos, sure. Ew, Goblin Surgeon. Yeah. That's a sack outlet. 2 more Goblin tokens. Cast the Commander. Oh, that's going to be a lot of damage. We need life gain. Badly need life gain. Or damage. Something that gives haste. Get Oros everything and get rid of the tokens, although that's still a lot of Stalking Vengeance triggers. Dark Dweller Oracle. Yeah, that's good in Goblin decks. Stalking Vengeance into Fish. Yep. Brings it back to our turn. There's a Debtor's Knell. We got choices. Vorosh getting big is cool. Newmont destroying lands, okay. Daragaz gives us a little extra damage. Probably Oros. Gives us something to do against the goblins. It's going to be a minute, though. There's a Treva. No haste, though. That makes me sad. We have a couple sources of haste in the deck and just haven't found any of them. Also haven't really seen our card draw either. Hasn't been amazing. We're going to swing into Kithron. They've got a board state and a lot of life. Man, how do we get that True Conviction back from our graveyard? That's the question that I have. That's the one that we want. Some Double Strike would be pretty good. And Lifelink. Teneb's going to trigger. Anything in any graveyard that helps us. We could get the Goblin Crater Maker and do 2 damage to the... No, they would just sacrifice it. Okay. There's a Grand Abolisher, a Caustic Caterpillar. Yeah, nothing terribly interesting. Looks like we have the best creatures to grab. Think it's going to be time for Vorosh. So maybe a little bit more haste in this deck. Something that it needs. A little bit more protection also. Vorosh into play. Let's get Treva. See if this board state sticks. It probably won't. Fully expecting Fish to drop a board wipe right here. They've got 8 cards. Play the Mana Confluence just in case we have to Sylvan Reclamation on something. Also, if you wanted to make this deck better, you could use the Who's the cheap one that it adds triple red, triple green when you attack? That dragon. You'd want to add that one. Can't think of the name of it right now. Fish loses the mana crypt flip and goes down to 16. That's the Urborg. No coffers in play, but Urborg makes it painfully slow to tap all the lands now. Board wipe. Yep, there's the damnation. Knew it. Yeah, I probably could have held back Treva. Stalking Vengeance is going to trigger a bunch of times. Does it kill fish? We're also, like, in pretty good range of that kind of damage. All the Stalking Vengeance triggers at fish. This is going to hurt. Fish down to 10. That's an Ugin the Spirit Dragon. This seems like a situation where you plus Ugin. Oh, they're just going to shoot us in the face? Ouch. Well, I guess Fish is going to take us down with her. Down to 15. Everyone very much in range of Saskia triggers. Really looking for haste off the top. If we have some problems that we need like multiple cards to really kind of fix our current situation. And I don't think we have ways to get them really. Saskia into play. Choosing... Oh, us. What? It's going to swing the Saskia. Oh, it's going to swing it into the Ugin. Okay, I'm fine with that. We'll bring Ugin down to 6. Oh, that's exactly enough to get all of our dragons. Oh, gross. So Ugin down to 6 loyalty. I mean, I think anything Kithron does is probably getting eaten by Ugin right here. This is, like, not a great spot, actually. Here's a Goblin Sharpshooter. Yep. Pashlik Mons into play. So with the looming Ugin, I think I'm going to go for Daragaz first. I think that's the one that I care least if it gets exiled. Oh, hey, that's a Supreme Verdict. I don't think that helps that much in this moment. Probably at some point earlier in the game it may have been useful, but not right now. I mean, I feel like Fish has to minus. So, play a Stomping Ground tapped? I don't think we cast our... I mean, do we just cast it and... Yeah, just cast the commander. If we have to pay it again, we have to pay it again. If Fish doesn't minus, then sitting here doing nothing is really bad. So, if we have to recast our commander, we have to recast our commander. I think we've made every land drop, plus we've ramped, so... It's the one resource we have going for us. We can pay a lot of mana into stuff. Mana Crypt flip on Fish. Might die to their Mana Crypt in a couple turns if this game doesn't end soon. Down to 7. Oh yeah, they're getting down there now. Yeah, Ugin X6, that's what I thought was coming. Does get rid of Pashlik Mons, and Goblin opponent doesn't have that. Oh, that's a Bajuka Bog. Oh, that hurts. So that's most of the deck. Opponent's gonna Savine's Reclamation on Aura of Silence. Sweet. Shoots the Debtor's Knell. Doesn't even matter. Well, I guess there were some things left. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Oros back to play. Who's left? Intet is left. Dromar. I think Intet and Dromar are it. Ew. Nothing from Saskia right here. Pashlik Mons back to play. Grenzo into play. Of course, we draw land. Just the lands keep on coming. Play the Arid Mesa. How much is our commander? 11. Gross. Yeah, we have enough to Supreme Verdict and cast our commander. Let's go ahead and do that. Pashlik Mons will get a trigger. Gonna put it at Fish. Puts her on 6. And, could die to 2 Mana Crypt triggers. Cast our commander. We lose 2 life casting our commander. That's pretty relevant. Pretty relevant. Down to 13. Mana Crypt flip on Fish. Lost the flip. Down to 3. And now the problem becomes that, like, Pashlik Mons, although I think, unless Pashlik Mons has a land, I don't think they can actually cast their commander again, but just that a little bit of damage, it's going to be a real problem for them. Can't use it. You can Ancient Tomb down to 1 if they want. Here comes Oros back to play. Disciple of Bolus, actually going to gain them some life, if they sacrifice their commander. Yeah, goes back up to 9, and goes up to 10 cards in hand. There's a land. Opponent can recast Pashlik if they want. Here comes Legion Warboss. Beginning of combat on your turn, create a 1/1 red goblin creature token. Creature gains haste. Here's Goblin Ringleader. Oh, that seems bad. Enters battlefield. Reveal the top 4 cards of your library. Put all goblins into your hand. The rest on the bottom. Ooh, Goblin Bombardment. Well, luckily they missed the Goblin Bombardment. They do get a Beetleback Chieftain, though. Sending the goblins into Fish. Yep. Gonna block with the Disciple. Lightning Greaves. Wow, the haste that we haven't been able to find all game. There's the Forest. So play the Forest. Get Lightning Greaves. Greaves on the Scion. Activate Scion. Oh, Rith is not the worst thing I've ever seen. Rith would get us like 3 tokens. It's actually kind of relevant against the goblins. Yeah, I think it's going to be Rith. Swing into fish. Gonna leave it in the balance of the mana crypt. Won't be able to use Ancient Tomb. Rith triggers. Pay for Rith. Choosing red. And we get 3 tokens. Some very relevant blockers against the goblins. Mana crypt flip on fish. Oh, wins the flip. Still alive. Perilous Vault. No. 5. Exile all non-land permanents. She can activate it right now? Gotta at least wait, right? Exiles everything. Awesome. Well, at least Rith is in the graveyard where we can get it back. Memory Jar. Basilisk Collar. Could shoot the Memory Jar. But Memory Jar also gets us a look at some extra cards too, and there's not like a ton of instants in the deck, but there's a couple. It does put things into our graveyard. I don't know how much that matters. Yeah, I don't know. It's a tricky call. I mean, Saskia can have a field day right here. Yep, here comes Saskia. Opponent cracks the Memory Jar. Any instance? Teferi's Protection is a very real instant. There's a Sylvia Bright Spear. Chosen player is Kithron. Excellent. We lose the Dragon Tempest. Makes me sad. There's a Gitrog monster. Gross. Does killing fish get rid of the Memory Jar trigger? Huh. This will be interesting. That'd be cool if we got to keep this hand. Saskia takes fish down finally, and Kithron takes the other damage trigger. Let's see if Memory Jar still triggers. It does not. Because fish is out of the game, that delayed trigger doesn't happen. Oh, that's awesome. Our hand is okay. It's like actually okay. Finally found some like useful cards in our deck. We've been drawing so many lands. There's a Burnish chart. Yep. Who'd we say is left? In Tet and Dromar? Dromar, Rith's in the graveyard, and in Tet, I think. Alright, Boggart Shenanigans. It's put into the graveyard for the battlefield. Have it deal 1 damage to target player or planeswalker. Okay. Seems bad. We're just going to want to hang on to that Teferi's Protection for dear life. That's a Reanimate. Oh, that's some life loss is what that is. For a Rith, there are a couple things in play. Let's start with the Dragon Tempest. Play the Scrubland. How much is our commander? Oh, this is going to be painful. Is that an 8? 8 plus 5, 13? Whew. Yeah, our commander's not happening this turn. I think we're on Rith. Let's get Sylvia. We have nothing to partner for. There's no Korvath in the deck. That was an intentional choice. Again, only Planar Chaos and Invasion Dragons. Let's play the Farseek. Keep thinning this deck, although we are very low on creatures. At some point, like, we just don't have win conditions left. Let's get the Sacred Foundry. Tapped. Anything else we can reanimate? Grand Abolisher, meh. Goblin stuff. I don't think goblins... Stalking Vengeance is actually pretty cool. But Rith's gonna have double strike. Let's get Rith. 2 Dragon Tempest triggers. We'll shoot Kithron in the face. They've got direct damage, which is a little bit scary to us. We'll give Rith haste. Go to combat. Send this into Kithron. Cracks the Burnish chart. Yep. Should have held that, actually. They're still wide open to Gitrog and Saskia. Green and red appear to be tied for 3 permanents apiece. Also tied with white. Oh, nope. Wait a second. Red. There are 4 red permanents in play. Missed the Dragon Tempest. So, Rith trigger. Let's pay for Rith. Choose a color. Choosing red. Second Rith trigger. Where it's going to get tricky here is how many lands do we have that aren't City of Brass and Mana Confluence? I think we're going to have to use one of them if we need to activate Teferi's Protection. Pay for Rith again. Now there's a lot of green permanents in play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Does that count non-tokens? Choose a color, choose green. Wow, Rith is good. Rith is so good. We have a lot of tokens now. Pass the turn. We're in good shape. Teferi's Protection might be able to get us there. We just have to avoid like combos from the Gitrog player here, or Saskia, as it were. It's the weird Saskia lands deck. Opponent sacrifices a land, draws a card. I'm going to send Saskia into Kithron. Doesn't want to kill them, apparently. Maybe doesn't feel confident against our Saproling army. Man, I need to build a Rith deck. Someone was playing one in Patreon not that long ago, and we got absolutely schooled by it. Goblin opponent down to 6. Life total's getting down there. That's an impact, Tremors. Yep. If opponent goes to the Beetleback Chieftain, we're going to have to peace out. Oh, yeah, opponent's going to make a bunch of tokens. It's Teferi's Protection time. Sack Outlet is a problem. Impact Tremors triggers 5 times. Maru down to 15. Ooh, battle him. Uh-oh. Well, opponent has 5 red mana. Could be worse. Could be worse. I'm used to that adding like 20 red mana. Skull Clamp is a thing. Luckily, they can't do that during our turn. They can draw a bunch of cards, though. They might be able to keep going. Oh, it's not good. Skull Clamp and Boggart Shenanigans trigger. Going to Maru's face. Skull Clamp, another one. Looking for some answers. Skull Clamp's another one. This should put opponent down to 12. And that puts him in Rith double strike range. Yep, that's going to happen. Think we're golden. Well, I guess it depends on what Saskia has. Saskia has a ton of open mana. Has a deck that said it's like 70 lands or something like that. I really have no idea what's going on. The whole deck may have just been zombie infestation stuff with the lands, but I'm not sure. Play the Misty Rainforest, I guess. Cast our commander just in case. Maru says only lands. Okay, so we can skip our commander. Don't need to ham it. Rith into Maru, the tokens into Kithron. Go to combat. This should do it. Opponent said he has only lands. Red player's tapped out. Oh, hey now, that's a Labyrinth thing. That's a problem. Yep, Labyrinth on the Rith. Oh, boy. Yep, should have cast our commander right there. Oops. Opponent's going to block a token. Yeah, that's bad. Opponent goes down. All right, getting punished for not hamming it. Cast our commander, I guess. Dragon Tempest will trigger. We'll get... we can damage opponent's face. Yep, forgot about the land. Think we're okay? If we block Gitrog with our commander, probably fine. Temple for our opponent. Scries. Sacrifices a land. Opponent's going to send the Gitrog and Saskia. Oh, wait, Saskia is still in play. Oh, Scion has double strike. Okay. I think I've got it. Nope, that's still a problem. Yeah, activate Scion. Running Ted into it. Oh, wait, no, Saskia trigger's not on us. Okay, yeah, we just block Gitrog. Whew. Almost forgot. Wow. Block the Gitrog. Gitrog goes down. Opponent could have saved their Gitrog if they wanted. They could use the land on it, but probably opting to use it on us. Yep, we survive at 3. If opponent has only lands, then we should be golden. Opponent saying GG. There it is. Finally the scoop. What was our next card? Austere Command. Nope, not helpful. The Scion of the Dragon, only Invasion, and Planar Chaos Dragons. It goes to show you that, like, Scion, even with such heavy restrictions, is still pretty good. You know, if we added 1 or 2 extra dragons in there, if we added Savage Ventmaw and Bladewing the Risen, I think this deck goes from, like, as mediocre as it was to pretty good. The ability to just tutor a dragon out of your deck and just become that dragon is very, very strong. Even when it's one of these, you have to sink a bunch of extra mana into it. Again, it's not going to be the most powerful thing ever, and it's certainly not the most powerful build of this deck, but just doing that, having access to that ability just makes you stronger than a lot of other things that people can be doing. So that was pretty interesting. We got to use a handful of the activated abilities. We saw Vorosh, we saw Numot, we saw Teneb, we saw Oros from our opponent. We didn't get to use the Oros. I wanted to get Trevago, and we didn't get a chance. We used Rith, and the other ones we didn't get to use as much. I was hoping we would have, but there's a lot of board wipes going down in there. We had trouble drawing Haste, so I'd probably add a few more sources of Haste in the deck, probably add a Flamekin Village. I think would have helped us out a lot, the colored mana especially, so add that into the deck. We'll drop a Cinderglade, I guess. Yeah, probably could have another source of haste somewhere as well, but haste was definitely a big thing that was lacking. Maybe something to protect our graveyard, or like an Eldrazi to reshuffle our graveyard. Yeah, Elixir of Immortality, something like that, because I noticed that to be an issue. Definitely soft to graveyard removal, but anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching.